Hey everyone, and welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and here at RedBeard Outdoors, I talk about faith, family, fitness, and the outdoors. And my journey through life, I share it with you because I want you to join along. I want you to come with me. I want you to live a happier, healthier, more successful life, and of course, get outside as much as possible. That's a key element of it. So today, I have the Wednesday Wake Up, and Wednesday Wake Up is the shorter edition of the podcast, where I can share either a thought, a quote, something that's come up that I just want to share with you guys as if we were having a normal conversation and just wanted to share something important, or I'd shoot you a text message or whatever it may be, something along those lines. Also, on Saturdays, I bring you some amazing conversations that I've had. I love talking with people that are either on the similar journey with me or someone that has much more wisdom and experience than me, and I just enjoy having those conversations and sharing them with you. So today, for Wednesday Wake Up, before we get into that, I want to share our show sponsors and affiliates, because I really do appreciate the people that are supporting the show, and also vice versa. I like to be able to share with you guys discounts or, whatever it may be to be able to help you get into the best gear possible, whether that be best backcountry nutrition or the best supplements that you may need to fill gaps in your diet, whatever it is. I want to help you out to be able to get the best quality items that I use in my life, and just want to share that with you. So, of course, just a quick shout out here, you guys. Go check out the links down below for the show sponsors and affiliates. Here we've got Phorm and Phorm Outdoors. Of course, go join us over at the Phorm Facebook group. Of course, RedBeard's Fit Crew as well over on Facebook. The only two reasons why I still have a Facebook, basically, to be able to have you guys there in a private community, be more interactive with you, and to share our journey together. Of course, Heather's Choice and alpenfuel.com. Go check out those backcountry meals. They are my go-tos. They don't tear your gut up in the backcountry. You can eat them for days. They're delicious and just a great warm meal whenever you need it. Kifaru has the best backpacks on the market, guys. Go get a duplex light frame, throw a pack on it, shoot me a message if you got any questions, or just call them and their customer service. And they have amazing customer service that'll walk you through whatever you may need for your backpack needs. Also, Absolute Aid CBD. If you're looking for a good CBD chewable, definitely go check out Absolute Aid. No THC, works great. I love the relief formula because it helps on my recovery days where I may have worked out a little too hard the day before. Not too hard, but I'm more sore than normal. Definitely take one of those with my vitamins, and it definitely helps. And of course, Affect Beard Oil. Go check out Affect Beard if you have a short beard, long beard, whatever kind of beard, crazy beard, awesome beard, whatever. Go check out Affect Beard Oil at affectbeard.com. Get some beard oil, get some beard butter, and tame that beard, get rid of the itchiness, give back to charity as well. So just an amazing company. So there we go, guys. Check out all the links so you don't have to memorize everything. They're all down below. Now, today for the Wednesday Wake Up, I just want to share an experience that I've had over the last couple of days. So I went out this last Thursday evening, and went to chase elk because it is September and I love elk. I have yet to tag out on an elk. I've helped other people. I've packed out multiple elk, but I have yet to tag one out myself. And so this year, of course, going into it, I feel like this year is going to be the year, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do everything in my power and control the controllables, right? So my attitude and my effort. And so I've lined everything up. I went out for a couple days, and I checked out a bunch of areas, and had a lot of fun. I really did. I loved getting unplugged. I loved not having to worry about answering emails, phone calls, text messages, social media, everything else that could be going on. I was able to unplug and get completely out of service. I have my Garmin Mini, which my InReach Mini, I guess is what it's called. And I'm able to text my wife back and forth, and people know where I'm at. I've got a SOS, etc. So kind of a safety device, but also helps my wife feel comfortable while I'm out there, because this was a solo trip. And I hit multiple different areas every single day and put some miles on my boots and my legs and my feet. And it was awesome. It really was. I had an amazing experience. I didn't see any elk until the very last night that I was there, I didn't even see any fresh sign. The most fresh I had seen was about a week old. And I was getting a little disappointed, to be honest with you, because I had e-scouted all of these areas. They were new areas that I hadn't touched on last year. And I was a little disappointed because I feel like I'd put in the work. I don't have the time that I can go put boots on the ground per se and check out these areas before season. But yeah, I was just a little disappointed. I didn't necessarily run into a lot of people. There were a couple of times where I ran into a fellow bow hunter, but other than that, they weren't good spots necessarily for elk. And they've been there before, just not recently. And then the last night, I got into a spot where the sign was fresh as can be from that same day. But they just weren't talking. And that's a big thing for me too that I love about elk is that they're interactive. They will call to you. You can hear them bugling. Even if you're not a good caller, you can just be quiet and just listen to them talk with their cows, bugle between each other, whatever it may be. It's just an awesome overall experience. If you're a hunter, I recommend that you go at least once elk hunting. Find a good mentor, hire an outfitter, whatever it may be. Go experience elk hunting at least once in your lifetime. It'll change your life. It's amazing. Well, this time around, I got my butt kicked. And again, I didn't see any elk. I saw a fresh sign the last night I was there. And I was in before dark, or before light, in the morning, and I left after dark. There were times where I might move spots in the middle of the day, but other than that, I was not chilling back at camp, quote unquote camp. I just basically lived out of my truck, staying mobile, and it just kicked my butt the first couple days of season. And I reflected on my drive back, and I honestly, I kind of like longer drives on the way back from somewhere, so I can kind of get in my head and break things down and see where maybe some chinks in my armor and things that I could do better. And so I did. I broke it all down. I learned a lot, and I walked away from this first couple days out, my first outing this year for elk, having learned where not to go. Places that I'm not going to go back to, and maybe one spot that I can put in my back pocket and go check out later in the season. But I also learned some other weaknesses that I have. And I noticed that I'm not necessarily, I don't consider myself out of shape, but I'm not in the best shape that I feel like I should be in. And the miles that I put on affected me a little bit more than I feel like they should have. And I also think that mentally, the lack of seeing elk affected me more than it should have. I went in with kind of an unrealistic expectation of I'm going to be in them, which is it's cool to have those hopes and visions, right? Picturing it, but also you kind of have to have that on the back burner of that's not the ultimate success necessarily. And just not getting disappointed or down on yourself for me would be a big success. So I didn't show it until I was, in the car moving camps at night, maybe. But I was a little frustrated with the fact that I just feel like I could have done better. And I didn't let that affect my effort. I didn't let that affect my attitude. I went out every morning and every evening, every spot that I went, knowing that I was going to see elk. And so anyway, coming back home, I voiced to my wife that I was a little disappointed in that, but I was stoked to come back out because I knew some good spots where they probably would be. I'm also excited to not be around necessarily the Labor Day or the Weekend Warriors for elk next time I go out. So all of those things combined, lessons learned. I got to see some beautiful places, check some spots off the list that I may have wanted to go, and now I know not to go there. So that was something that I learned. And then when I got back home on Monday morning, it was around 2 a.m. I got home, and then I got a couple hours of sleep. I slept in. Normally, I don't sleep past around 6. Usually, I'm up between 5 and 5:30. But this day, I got home at 2. We didn't really have anything. It was Labor Day, and so I slept in till it was about 9 o'clock. And when I got up, we had some things to do, and then I ended up going to the gym about midday. And I trained with an intensity that I haven't felt in a couple months, to be honest with you. And everyone out there that is consistent in the gym understands this. You get to a spot sometimes where you kind of hit a plateau, whether that's with your progress and your goals or the intensity of your training. All right, it can happen. And it's happened to me multiple times throughout the years that I've been training since high school, basically. You just kind of get to the spot where you show up to the gym, you do the workout, but you don't necessarily break the sweat that you could have. You don't necessarily push your limits like you should have. And I was kind of in that spot before heading out for elk season. And I didn't know how to kind of jumpstart that. Well, my lack of seeing elk jumpstarted that for me. And it made me realize that, again, I can't control what animals I see, right? I saw plenty of deer, saw plenty of bucks and does and fawns, and saw plenty of birds and cows, cattle cows, moo cows, and other animals. I got away from people. It was a great weekend. I just didn't see elk, right? So, and again, I can't control that, but what I could control is effort and attitude. So I decided to come back, kick-started my workouts, and just crushed it on Monday. And then of course Tuesday, and it's just been a whole different intensity again. And so it feels great, and I'm excited for that. And I just want to share that with you guys. There's going to be times where you come across, you've done everything that you feel like you can, but maybe you kind of hit this spot where you feel a bit monotony in your life, whether that be with your intensity of your workouts, your training, your nutrition, your hunting, your shooting, your bow. You kind of just get in this groove where you kind of do the same things in and out every day. And you need something to kickstart that. And sometimes that's failure. And for me, not seeing elk was a failure, even though, again, I couldn't control where the animals were going to be. But I feel like my failure was I got monotonous in my training. And that was something that was a failure in my eyes. And I want to pose a question to you as the listener, and I'd love to hear your answers over, again, RedBeard's Fit Crew. Go check it out on Facebook. I'd love to have you in the group. Private group of individuals that just wants to get better in their lives on a day-to-day basis, whether that be with nutrition, fitness, health, hunting, outdoors, whatever, just getting better, right, as individuals. So go join us over there. I want you to come have this discussion as well. Shoot me a message on Instagram if you feel so as well. And just answer this question for yourself. When you have a failure, when you fail at something in your life, do you look outward or do you look inward? And that kind of made me, to be honest with you, a little proud of myself that when I was upset about not seeing elk in this case, and some of you may think that's a little funny. For me, that's intense. This is like my time of the year that I look forward to. Ever since I've picked up a bow, and ever since I've had my first interaction with elk, even before getting into archery, elk hunting is awesome. It's something that I love this time of year. So when I noticed that failure, what I considered a failure, I looked inward and said, what can I do better? Well, I can ramp up my training. I can get out of the monotony of what I was doing before. That is a huge deal for me. And so, again, I looked inward and said, what can I do better? I didn't, get upset. Some people might get upset and say, the elk just weren't participating or whatever. That's fine, but that's pointing outward, right? You can't control what the animals do. You can't, in this case, but whatever your failure may be, you can't control all the outward things that are going on, but you can control what is happening inside your mind. You can control your attitude and your effort. And I decided I'm just going to kick my trash until I get back out there. I'm going to do everything that I can. I know where they're going to be. I'm going to train harder. I'm going to keep my attitude up. I'm going to make sure I've got everything in line so when I get back out there, I'm 100% back on it and even better than I was even just a couple days ago. So just want to share that with you guys. Do you look outward or inward when you fail? And your answer is super important. Keep that in mind because you can only control you and the things that are controlled by you are your attitude and your effort. Look inward, make those changes, better yourself today, and whatever failures may have happened recently or that may happen in the future, look at yourself and say, what can I do better? If you look outward, change that, because you're going to live life miserable if you look at other people and say, well, they should have done this or this or this or this. No, you worry about you. You be satisfied with your own attitude and effort. Make that better. And then things will line up and fall into place the way that they need to. Trust me on that. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate your support. The podcast continues to grow. The support on whether it be RedBeard's Fit Crew is growing, First Phorm Outdoors' group is growing, and of course, the Instagram's growing. I love it. I thank you so much for the support and growth. I'd love to see you over at RedBeard's Fit Crew if you're not in there. Join with the links down below. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.